Welcome everyone, Bob Leone here with Acquisition Experts. Today I'm here with my good friend Spencer Rutledge. Hi Spence, how are you today?
Hi Bobby.
Glad you were able to join us today. I want to let my audience know Spencer's been a big part of me doing these videos and encouraging me to get the message of what I do out on the air. And today I'm just going to interview him because he has a lot of questions as a potential buyer and as a seller that I think are going to make great conversation for us. So, Spence, you've been reading a lot of my newsletters for a lot of years, and you always tell me that you see great things and you have some questions. So, what do you got for me?
What questions? Well, I got to say that, I have been following your newsletters over the last little over a year now.
Okay.
But more than that, when you've been in here talking about businesses, buying a business, selling the business, what's important and so forth, I've become a little bit more attuned to, what's involved with that. And so one of my questions, Bobby, is I see some people coming in here that have good businesses and they talk about their business, and sometimes it's a husband and wife team. And I'm looking at it and it's like, wow, what a great team. Maybe the husband is more of the engineer and doing some of the work, and the wife is great with clients and works to get the contracts just right and work done fine. And together, they got a great business. So I can understand as a business owner and potentially as a business seller, the importance of having, if you have a good wife and it all works together and so forth, a strong husband and wife team. It can help your business. But I was kind of scratching my head, Bobby, and thinking about now, if I bought a business, a good going concern, good business, but it was run by the husband and the wife, is that a good proposition? What are some of the things that I should be thinking about if I bought a business that was run by husband and wife successfully, good business?
So, excellent topic.
Thank you, Bob.
We run into it all the time. A lot of small businesses are owned by a husband and wife team. Take a lot of small restaurants. The husband is the chef and the wife is running the front of the house, and their idea is that another husband and wife team are going to come in and purchase that business. Well, that's great if that happens, but what if that doesn't happen? And let's move out of the restaurant space. Let's move on to something bigger. I just recently had a deal where, it was a $3 million deal. Husband and wife started the company together, and he did all the outside estimating, running the crews, right, doing everything that, takes the business to run day to day, dealing with the customers. But the wife was the whole backside of the business.
Yeah.
Everything. The accounting, the contracts, customer complaints. They all came in through the phone line, and that's what she did in the back, and she did it from home. So they didn't have, per se, an office. They did everything from their home office.
And it was a $3 million business, huh?
$3 million business. Husband and wife, they started it 15 or 20 years ago.
I'll give my wife a call.
And so here's the biggest issue with that, is that we always look at, the financial information. And the financial information on the first line of the tax return says offices compensation. And so now as a business, they're filing offices compensation at $150,000. And so how much is allocated to the wife and how much is allocated to the husband? If it's a 50-50 split, it's probably not correct, and we have to make a real adjustment when we list that business to say, okay, who do I replace? Do we replace the wife, or do we replace the husband with a salaried payroll employee and make that adjustment so that the net benefit is shown correctly?
That makes sense. So that's really kind of key, because one person is buying the business, running it kind of, and so what does that look like in terms of disclosure, or how you position? Maybe you're the broker and you're selling a business and you get a buyer coming in. How do you disclose that and talk about it to a potential buyer?
What a lead in for me. because this is why you have business brokers.
This was unplanned too.
This was unplanned. We didn't even talk about this before. So this is why you have business brokers. You know, business brokers are the problem solvers. They're the ones that anticipate what is going on. They know about the business because they've sat down with the seller. They've sat down with their potential buyer. They know what the seller, you know, has told them about the business and how it's set up. And now they sit with the buyer and they ask the buyer the relevant questions. Are you married? Will your wife be involved in the business? Mm-hmm. Will your girlfriend be involved in the business? You better hope not. Yeah. So we have to find out all of those, you know, pertinent, relevant information so that we can direct you accordingly. Because if you're thinking that, you know, you're going to come in here and take this husband and wife team business and now run it by yourself and you're going to do his and her job so that you get that $150,000, that's not going to happen. So that's what we do.
So does your conversation, so I understand that part of the conversation, if the buyer says, you know what, my husband, my wife, we'll say, my wife and I want to find a business that we can run, that's a pretty important piece of information, isn't it?
Absolutely, because I'm going to look differently at the businesses that we're looking at, and I'm going to give more value to what's on the marketplace where I see husband and wife team, mm-hmm. husband and wife team, husband and wife team. And so those are the businesses that I'm going to bring to you to say, hey, listen, why don't you and your wife look at this? This couple's been very successful at it. They've been doing it 10, 15, 20 years. And with the skill set that you've shared with me that you have and she has, I think you'd be a good fit for this.
Okay. So it all comes down, doesn't it, to conversation, trust,
relationship.
And relationship.
Relationship. And until the buyer trusts me, until the seller trusts me and disclose to me, you know, 100% of the information, 100% of what they're expecting out of the business as the buyer, or 100% of what the business is really doing from the seller standpoint, it's very hard to make the deal consummate.
Well, okay, Bobby, I understand. That was very, very helpful. I think I get a better sense for what we're talking about. And I guess what it gets down to, if you're a buyer or seller, it's important to call, have a discussion, develop a relationship that you can build to either buy or sell a business with you.
Exactly, Spence. And I really appreciate you taking the time to come down and spend some time with me today. Mm-hmm. So until next time, if you need to get a hold of me personally, Bob Leone at Acquisition Experts, 772-621-0528. Till next time, Spence, good seeing you.
Thanks, Bobby.